So Asus has come out and released their own, or shown off what their new phone is going to be, this ROG phone. And suddenly I had heard no coverage or like any rumors or anything like that before now. And so it's been quite a surprise. And whilst there's a lot of like excitement around this, and I'm suddenly sort of in this space as I have a Razer phone, so it's that sort of gamery aesthetic phone area that's been targeted. But it's brought up a few points because I didn't buy the Razer phone for the whole gamer thing. I just wanted a powerful phone that had some really cool specs to it, specifically the screen and battery size. And that's kind of my problem with the ROG phone. See, everyone's talking about the fact that it's got all these extra gaming features, like it's so powerful and it has the ability to play any kind of game on it, and you could put it onto your PC screen and play games off it, or you can add on all of these extra controllers, like make it into a Switch or something, because you can add controllers onto the sides, or you can add a screen onto the bottom, like a Nintendo DS or something. But realistically, like maybe the whole point is it's just a showcase for what you can do, and really they don't expect people to actually buy this phone or buy the extras to go with it, and they simply just want to get into the phone space, and all of this is just a way of, you know, giving them a specific edge over rivals. Like, it just gives them more press if you have all this extra stuff that people can talk about. But yeah, my point being, if we're going to talk about what the phone actually looks like, I mean, obviously I've never had a chance to actually hold one and play with it, but from a specs point of view, it's really going up against the Razer phone. And yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting to have a chat about it and just what specs it really has. And I'd be interested to see what you guys think of it, because, well, at the end of the day, we are the demographic it's being aimed at. We are like gamery people who supposedly want to be playing all the time. Now, that said, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe this is actually looking for people who are interested in gaming, but very casually. They do just want to play on their phones. Because personally, I have no interest in playing on games on my phone. I just don't see the point. Like, when I'm out and about, I'll be talking to people. I'll be with my friends, or I'll just be listening to music or watching TV. I don't really find gaming on my phone fun. They just don't match up to a fully fledged PC title. So I don't see the point in playing the cut down version on your phone. But anyway, the thing that I love about my Razer phone, and the thing that I wish I had labored this more in my review of the phone, is the screen. The 120Hz refresh rate is mind-blowing. Like, it is so cool. I know most people have just not experienced refresh rates over 60, and I know none of my friends have. And I know a lot of PC people who are really into properly high-end PC gaming still don't have higher than 60Hz refresh rate monitors, just simply because it hasn't been like a priority for people for a long time. We haven't really been able to power that kind of frame rate with really good graphics all at the same time, but we're getting to a point where that is kind of the case now. And so a lot of people are starting to realize that refresh rate is really important, and it brings a whole new element to the user interface. One of the best examples I have is I was using my Razer phone for about 3 months, and then one of my parents wanted me to set them up on their new Samsung S9. And the S9 was one of the phones which I was on the edge of actually getting instead of the Razer phone. And the whole time since I actually went with Razer, in the back of my mind, I've always wondered, did I make the right decision? You're always going to wonder that. You always want to know, did you get the right phone? And after a day of just playing around with the phone, I realized that whilst it's an amazing phone, it's got amazing specs, it feels amazing, it looks amazing, the screen is so cool with its 18:9 aspect ratio, the refresh rate simply means that it doesn't feel as responsive. It really feels sluggish. Like, I know they're performing exactly the same. They're both really fast. They're both supposedly snappy, but the Razer phone just feels smoother. It feels faster. It feels more responsive. When you touch something, even though they're both going to respond at the same time, purely because it's refreshing the screen more quickly, you're seeing more data, it just feels better. It feels like a faster phone. And I really do wonder if I'll ever be able to go back to 60 on my phone, because it just is so much nicer. Now, the ROG phone, thankfully, does have a 90Hz refresh rate, which is one of the key reasons I'm interested in it. And yes, it does have HDR support. It says 109% DCI P3 color gamut coverage, but again, I don't actually know the full specs on this HDR support. It could be one of the, as Linus put very well, a HDR-nt supported screen, but yeah, on the surface, it looks great. And it's an 18:9 aspect ratio as well, which is something I really wish the Razer phone had done. It's only 16:9. Again, they're not 21:9, but maybe an ultra-wide screen on a phone wouldn't be perfect. I don't know. I'd love to see one though. And yes, actually, most of the specs are the same as the Razer phone, except that it does actually have a headphone jack, which, yeah, I would like that back on my Razer phone. But regardless, whilst it's pushing the idea that it is the most powerful phone there is, and people will pay good money because that's an amazing line, a tagline to hear, the reason I want to talk about it is because does it really matter? Like, any of us who are using our phones, when you first buy a phone now, it's so fast, it's not going to feel slow at all, and they all get a bit slower over time. But at no point, even the last generation with my phone, at no point did my phone feel too slow to use. Like, it never felt like a slow laptop does when people spend like 100 quid on a laptop and then they question why it's running slow. It never feels that slow. So we've really gotten to a point where it just doesn't matter if we are onto the next Snapdragon processor. It's just not going to be a noticeable difference. And yes, I know they're trying to push the idea that no, you'll be able to game better and you'll be able to power so much more with this. Realistically, there's a huge disparity between the gaming on your phone and gaming on a PC or a console even. And this massive gap between the two isn't going to be bridged by these few little upgrades to your Snapdragon processor. It's a massive gap that needs to be jumped. And I just wonder if there's really a market for all of this extra peripheral stuff. Like, it just seems frivolous. It just seems like something that's waiting to fail. Yes, whilst having a second screen on your phone might be cool, even if a user is using it, like, that's only going to be a small percentage of the people who even buy this phone, and that number in itself is going to be quite small. It's not going to sell like Samsung numbers. Why would a developer support that second screen? I mean, yes, the argument is that you could use other more standard stuff, like you could have music, like Spotify in that separate screen at the bottom, and that could just be a software update that Asus does. But it doesn't seem like it's worth paying, and I don't think they've released the prices yet, but it's going to be like a few hundred quid for that second screen. Why someone would pay all that money for that extra stuff? So yes, I do think that all the docking stuff and the extra gamepads and ways to play are all just extra things that are for the press, really, just to get attention garnered for this phone. And really, there's no real world use for this stuff. That said, this extra tech has actually brought a few benefits to the phone. Like, there's some epic port inputs to the phone, which you just wouldn't normally see. But yes, anyway, at the end of the day, my favorite thing about this is that high refresh rate screen. And I'm really just sad that they only went with 90. I'm not sure why they didn't go to 120. I'm guessing there just isn't a panel currently created for that. But I love the fact that there's more phones in the market that are pushing this higher refresh rate screen over other stuff. Well, they haven't really pushed anything else back, but we really need people like Samsung and Apple, as much as we'll dislike Apple, to push higher refresh rate screens as a standard, because it's just so awesome and just makes phones feel amazing. But of course, the difficulty is selling that idea to people. Until people have actually played with it, they'll never realize, because when you watch a review or whatever on your normal screen, you can't see the benefit of that higher refresh rate. Anyway, I would love to see a review of the two phones side by side, the Razer phone and this ROG phone, and I'd love to get my hands on it myself just to try it out. But yes, I'm hoping that someday we'll get an ultra-wide phone, and hopefully it'll be over 120 Hz and it will be an amazing resolution and it'll have every feature under the sun. But yes, realistically, we still don't have any sight of an ultra-wide phone. But at the moment, it's nice to see other companies pushing phones and just trying different things. It's just great to see competition.